What's good? Now I've been want to watch this movie. I knew from the trailer that it was gonna be good, even though I was confused and had no idea what it was gonna be about based on the trailer, because the trailer was a bunch of kids running like ninjas in a very ominous and scary way throughout the night. All I saw was that and the title, Weapons. But I knew it was gonna be good because it was an original horror movie that looked good. I had a feeling in my gut and I was curious about it. So call me George, but if you call me a monkey, you can suck my balls and eat my banana. But this movie is about, spoiler alert, well, I wouldn't call it spoiling, I would call it convincing. Now, let me convince you to watch this movie. Imagine a bunch of kids, all from the same classroom, get up out of their bed at 2:17 a.m. in the morning and start Naruto running to a certain destination like they trying to be Hokage. The police have no idea what's going on. The parents are confused. Nobody knows what happened. The parents has to be the detectives because the police are out here eating donuts, harassing black people, and jerking each other. So the parents start to do some detective work and start blaming the teacher that was teaching the class that all the students disappeared from, which is dumb to me. Why would the teacher have anything to do with that? That's a little too obvious, don't you think? A bunch of kids disappeared in the middle of the night. Who am I questioning? I'm questioning the niggas that starred in To Catch a Predator. I'm questioning the people that show up in Gideon videos. That's who I'm questioning if there's missing kids. But nah, they question the teacher, which is stupid to me because you can look and tell when a teacher actually cares about her students. And I got that vibe from her. Even though she's just an actor, she just does look like a loving teacher. She looks like one of those teachers that actually cares, pays attention, makes sure you learns, but you can tell that she's a freak and she has a big ass dildo when she goes home. How do I know that? Well, I had a sixth sense when I was a kid. A sixth sense. But all the parents want to burn this bitch to a stake because they think that she kidnapped all the kids somehow. They don't have any evidence, but they want this bitch to go to jail. So the teacher, her name is Justine, by the way. I don't want to keep calling her a bitch, but her name is Justine. So to prevent this, she has to conduct her own investigation on how the kids went missing. And how does she do that? She starts following the only kid that didn't disappear. His name is Alex. Now you would think that Justine is the main character, but nah, this movie actually switches MCs. So Alex is a main character, Justine is a main character, and there's also other main characters. It switches perspective. But let's talk about Justine some more. Listen, like I said, she was a loving teacher, but she's not perfect. Not perfect at all. Matter of fact, she's kind of an alcoholic. She's drinking vodka with no chaser. That's how I know she's a bit of an alcoholic. Why don't you need soda pop with that, bitch? But other than that, she might be a rapper. I said she was an MC, right? But she might be a nigga with attitude the way she fucks the police because she was having an affair with a cop named Paul. Now, Paul's a main character too. We'll get to Paul. But she's not perfect. But she is trying to find these kids and is doing more than the police. But her investigation leads her to Alex's house. Now, Alex's house is strange immediately because she peeks in there and she sees two adults that look like zombies. Not tweakers, not drug addicts, but actual zombies. And later on that night, we see somebody come in her car while she's sleeping outside of her student's house. It might sound like she's a creep here, but they come out and they cut her hair. Very ominous. And that's where it switches perspective. Let me slow it down and introduce y'all to the other main characters so this video can flow more smoothly. All right, we got the cop named Paul, like I mentioned. and we have a junkie named James. Funny story between them, but the cop was chasing the junkie. The cop catches the junkie. The cops does the thing where they say, do you have anything that can poke me while they frisking your nuts? James says no. The cop sticks his hand in the junkie's pocket and he gets poked by a needle. And as somebody who hates needles, I understand why the cop punched James in his shit and knocked him out and then turned off the cameras. But after that, the cop came to his senses and realized that the junkie wasn't black. So he apologized and let him go. And not even gonna lie to you, I obviously don't support police brutality, but if he would have Rodney King that nigga, I would have understood. Matter of fact, I would have beat his ass if I was the cop. Because how you not gonna let me know there's a dirty needle in your pocket? I could get AIDS from that. And this is before he fucked the teacher. So he could have had AIDS while fucking evil, just evil. But the other characters we got is Archer, the concerned parent. And he's also doing more investigating than the police. Who else we got? We got Marcus, the Asian principal. He doesn't do much but get killed, but still, he's important enough to get a perspective, I guess. But out of all the characters I just mentioned, the cop, the junkie, the teacher, the principal, the concerned parent, who finds the kids first? The junkie. The junkie was breaking into that house that I mentioned that the teacher was at. He broke in to steal silverware, electronics for some drug money. But he found the kids in the basement. Yes, he found a whole bunch of kids just looking, staring in the basement. He runs out the house. He finds the cop. The cop starts chasing him because the cop thinks the junkie is about to snitch on the cop. Even the police don't like rats, but the junkie he running from the cop. He gets in a tent and he stabs the cop in the face with some motherfucking needles. He stabbed the cop with needles again. And guess what? The cop still doesn't George Floyd him because he said, wait, I know where the kids are. Nigga, you're about to know where heaven is because there's no way I don't George Floyd you. And when I say George Floyd you, it doesn't matter if you're black or white because you stab me with some needles. You're going to die if I'm a cop. What are you talking about? Like, just killing a guy because he's black is crazy. But now you have an actual... Matter of fact, we might support the cops with this one. This is the only time in history where the citizens might get together and march for police brutality because the junkie who's Caucasian stabbed a cop in the face with some needles. And then the cop asks, do you have AIDS? The junkie gonna say, not that I think of. So they go to the house. Something happens. We'll get to that. But Archer meets up with Justine. Originally, he was pressing her, but Marcus, he comes trying to attack Justine, his employee. So Archer has to protect her, and Marcus end up getting ran over. So they all end up at the house where the kids are to face off against the villain. Now, what monster, what sick, seductive, that's not the word I'm used for, sadistic bastard kidnapped these kids, terrorized this town. It was an old lady named Gladys. And I might just cut that out. I just burped while I'm saying that whole name. I can't stand that bitch. She scared me. Give me gas. But an old lady named Gladys with a fucked up orange wig. And she's sickly on top of that. How did she do that? How did she kidnap all these kids? Voodoo. She has voodoo. And all she has to do is get a tree branch that she grown, a special type of tree branch, get a piece of hair or a special object owned by the person she wants to possess, her blood, and then break the branch. And with these, and that's not a lot. That's not a lot of ingredients. Making a cake takes more ingredients to do. But with those steps, she can control people. She can make people kill other people. She can make people weapons. She can turn human beings into her weapons with this type of voodoo. Man, burn this hoe, bro. Like jail time. If you find out somebody using voodoo to kill people, possess people, and kidnap children, you gotta burn this bitch at the stake. Prison time will not do. We gotta go back to the old days to handle this hoe. Because this is sick. I can't stand this bitch because her niece let her into her home, her and her husband's home, because she was sick. And how does she repay the favor? She turns them into zombies. Then forces her grandniece, forces a kid to do her bidding. Man, that little bitch evil, man. That little bitch evil. But she does get brought down. How? I'm gonna let y'all find out. If you already watched the movie, then you know. But if you haven't, go check it out. I give this movie a smooth 9 out of 10. I'm feeling generous because it's not a remake. It's original and it was good. It didn't scare me, like make me piss on myself, give me goosebumps, but it did make me feel unsettled. Because what if somebody in real life actually knew voodoo? What if voodoo is real? And maybe it's just the type of person I am. I am the type of person who sees based on a true story in the movie and think, oh, this should really happen? Really? But y'all let me know what y'all think. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Love you. Peace.